Previously on Chat 62.
So I had a lot of good leadership. I had, the whole time I was in, I had very good leadership and very few that I just didn't care for. But the majority are the ones that, guided me right, took care of me and stuff like that. And that's like a key element when you're in the Marines and stuff. You either have good leadership or bad leadership. And if you have bad leadership, that'll cause, people to just leave the Marines, get out of the military, because they're like, screw this, and it's just, it all comes down to who your leadership is.
Right.
Eventually.
Yeah, that's so true. Real quick before we start, we've streamlined our contact info. From now on, if you have any questions, feedback, or ideas for future guests, just shoot us an email at chat62podcast@gmail.com. That's chat62podcast@gmail.com. All right, let's fucking go. So you're done with school over in Courthouse Bay, and now it's time to report to your first duty station.
Yeah. First duty station was 2nd Medical Battalion at Lejeune. So when I left, I left MOS school. I was like, 2nd Medical Battalion. Oh, that's on main side. What? So we hopped up in a 5-ton with all our gear and stuff in Alphas and went over to main side. And then we went to I forgot what it was called back then. That was on main side where you sit there, they do your check in with your orders and all that other stuff, and then they call your unit that you're going to. And I just remember some of my buddies sitting there next to me. They were electricians too, and they were like, they started calling their names, and they started going, get up, take their stuff, and go along with whoever from that battalion that came to pick them up. And then I was the last one. I just remember waiting. And somebody came and picked me up and took me over to 2nd Medical Battalion. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do at a medical battalion? But what they did is it's mostly corpsmen, and then they have a company of Marines, H&S company, and it was Motor T, and then engineers. And I fall under engineers. All right, so I got put with engineers, and so usually in an engineer platoon or a platoon or a company, you have combat engineers, and then utilities engineers, which I'm utilities, and then surveyor, and they fall on the engineers too. So it was an engineer platoon, and we did a lot. To believe it or not, we were always in the field because the corpsmen will go out to train. They will set up what they used to call STPs, and it was STPs and something else, and we'll go out there, run the generators, run the power, and all that stuff to all the stuff that they needed, and then just monitor that and stuff. And then they will do run casualty drills, and you'll be out there for a week. Sometimes you'll be out there just for 3 days. You go out there for 3 days. Sometimes it'll be a week. Sometimes it'll be 2 weeks. And then I was always, as an electrician, I was always TAD to 8th Engineer Battalion, because they always, 8th Engineer Battalion, because they always needed electricians. So I would always go there, and then I would have to deploy with them because they were short electricians and everything.
And what was it like interacting with a corpsman?
It was pretty good. Corpsmen definitely took care of us. They were just really laid back and everything. They lived in the same barracks, but a lot of them were just laid back and everything. And they were cool. Most of them were cool. You had a couple that was just knuckleheads or whatever, but they were just as bad as Marines and everything. Getting drunk, hurricanes would come through, taking their poncho liners and jumping off the second deck.
Thinking they're Super Mario or what?
Oh yeah. Hurricane season was definitely fun for everybody, because it was nothing but a drunk fest. My platoon sergeant would be like, "Hey," I remember my platoon sergeant. She came, knocked on the door, boom, boom, boom. I'm standing there, woke up. She said, "Hey, need the hurricane's getting ready to come. We need some cases of beer. Here's some money. Get 5 cases of beer and get yourself one too." And I was like, "What?" And I just remember going to the PX before it closed, because they would close all that stuff. We got cases of beer, grabbed one for myself, came back, gave it to her, and the other sergeant and corporals, and then the hurricanes came through, and that's that's a wild. When the hurricanes come through, it's wild, man.
What was it like?
I mean, because you got the wind blowing, it's blowing really bad. Everything's closed down around you, outside of the base. There's floods outside the base, but at the barracks, everybody's partying, drinking. There's no power. Everybody's going from room to room, and you might have some snacks and stuff like that. The chow halls will be open, but you got, wear your flak helmet, go into the chow hall, get some food or whatever there and bring it back. And it's just like, you don't have to clean. I mean, everything's messy. You don't have to clean up. And it's just like, it's just a drunk fest pretty much. And, people, like I said, people trying to ride the wind with their poncho liners and everything. So you don't have to work for like 3 or 4 days because of the hurricane. And
kind of like a nice little forced vacation.
Yes, definitely.
Do you have any other memories of being at a 2nd Medical Battalion?
Oh man, I got a lot of memories, man. Got a lot of memories. Just a platoon, a bunch of guys, just getting really close, guys and girls, just really close, and just taking care of each other. They always had my back. I always had their back, and we were either getting to like, I was always a good Marine, but like if I got into something like a fight or something like that, those guys always had my back. I just remember one of the guys, Stover, big, tall country guy, just swinging over my head at somebody because this guy was coming at me.
Wow. And
then the whole platoon just jumped into it and everything.
And that was out in town, or?
No, that was actually on base. That was on base at the shop with Motor T, going at it with Motor T and everything. And I remember our lieutenant, we used to call him Mighty Mouse. He was like short and just like stocky. And he came over here, hey, break it up. He jumped in the middle too. Break it up. And we were still, even after we made up, we were still talking crap to each other. And he didn't write us up. It was just, that's the way things were back then. Like, we made up, shook hands, walked away. No paperwork or anything like that. And it was just done.
Yeah, back then you just fought it out. Sometimes you just needed to just get that anger out.
Yep, just get it out and everything like that. If I lost and I was a higher rank, I lost. If they were a higher rank, hey, they lost. It was, whatever. It was just over with. No bad paperwork. Don't do that don't do that these days.
I hear it's different.
Oh, like when I was, I was in for 21 years and 7 months. So it changed a lot. It changed a lot for the better, but some of those things, like that, your career could get ruined like really quickly,
Just a one bad choice, right?
One bad choice. And back then there was many bad choices, but you got away with it. Yeah, you got away with it and everything like that. But 2nd Medical Battalion, man, I had a lot of good and bad. When I got deployed to Haiti, right? Got deployed to Haiti, went out there. We had good times, bad times. It was one of those times like the PX, like where we were on the base station, like where our hooches and all that stuff was. We'd take a shuttle bus to go to another, like maybe a mile and a half away, to another compound. And you'll have the PX. They always have PXs everywhere. I don't care where you go, what war zone you in, there's a PX. PX over there. We're walking around in civilian clothes. Or like they let us go in certain parts of the town, and we're in civilian clothes with your M16, some pepper spray, and just a comm radio, just walking around naturally. Wow. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up? And stuff like that. The only like where I really grew up is when one of our friends wound up killing themselves. Suicide. We wound up I just remember running up and seeing a corpsman over his body, and it was just like, wow, and that's where I actually mentally grew up. That affected me for years, and everything like that for years. Normally back then, I'll be telling this story or a little bit more into it, and I'll be like shedding tears already. That's where, like, I used to tell my mom and my wife and everything. I said, mentally, that's where I grew up. That's where everything changed in my head, being in the military and stuff like that. I was no longer that young little kid or whatever. And I was 21. I think, I was 21.
And this was during your first duty station?
First duty station, wow. Yeah.
Wow.
First duty station. A lot of stuff happened during that first duty station. It was long. It seemed like a long period because I got to that duty station as a PFC, and back then it wasn't normal. It was normal just to get out as a lance corporal. At 4 years, you get out as a lance corporal or a corporal, that's normal. And somehow I got out as a sergeant. That first, no, I didn't get out. I mean, that first 4 years I picked up sergeant at the end of that so it was a long experience, man. I've been through so much during that time. It's wild. I could go on with stories that first 4 years.
And why were you able to pick up rank so quick? Was it just because of the cutting score, or you were just fucking taking it by the...
No. So like I struggled to pick up corporal. I struggled. And I would go, and then I also would go on like promotion boards, and I would always come in second place. And then I remember the last promotion board that I went on, I was just not motivated. I was just like, whatever, and everything like that. Didn't win that board. And then I went to Haiti, got deployed to Haiti, came back, and then that's when they started Lance Corporal, get back from Haiti as a Lance Corporal, do my stuff, go straight to the field, do some other stuff. I get a meritorious, not a meritorious mass. What was that other thing? It's one after the meritorious mass. A NAM. I got a NAM. So holy crap, I got a NAM for the field. And right after that, I picked up corporal. Cutting score came out. I picked up corporal. I was like, wow. And there were at the time a lot of corporals, a lot of electricians getting out of the MOS and stuff like that. I picked up corporal, and then sergeant. I wasn't even planning on picking up sergeant. And I just remember I got attached to 8th Engineers again, and we went out to Fort Bragg to support 10th Marines artillery. And I just remember being out there, and I remember calling back to check up on. I was calling back to check up on something, and then I remember one of the Marines saying, "Hey, you got sergeant, right?" And I was like, "Man, stop playing with me." "No, you got sergeant." This is on the payphone. Yeah, you got sergeant. I'm holding your promotion warrant right here. I was like, "Get the fuck out of here, man!" And I was like, "There's no way." They said, "Yeah, we'll have it here. Have whoever's gonna come back, and we'll give it to them or whatever like that." So there was a staff sergeant there that was in charge of us, all the little engineers and everything. So I told him. He said, "Oh, bro, when I go back, I'll stop by your battalion. I'll pick it up." And I was like, "There's no way. And let me tell you this: there was this corporal, right, that was there with us at Fort Bragg. He was the corporal that was in charge of us when I was in Haiti, right? Piece of shit. Anytime he would do stuff wrong, tell us to do this, and that, we're like, we're not supposed to do that. And then we do it, and then we get in trouble, right? Or do this and do that. And we're like, we shouldn't be doing that. And then we get in trouble, right? Because of when he was get orders he was giving us. The staff sergeant would get on us and all chew our asses and everything. And then eventually I was like, me and one of my friends, we're still in touch to this day. And I was like, "Bro, screw this." He's like, "Man, screw that." So we went on a ride with the staff sergeant out in Haiti, and we're driving. We're like, "Staff sergeant," and we timed his ass out. We timed the corporal's ass out, and because right before that, the staff sergeant was chewing our asses for something the corporal did, and the corporal was hiding. He was hiding on the side of the wall of the building, listening. And then once we finished, he said, "What did he say?" And we're like, "Man, screw you." Fast forward. And we already told this back then. We told the staff sergeant. He's like, "What?" He said, "All right." Fast forward. That same corporal was with me at Fort Bragg, and he's in charge of us. And most of the Marines that's with me are from my battalion, 2nd Medical Battalion, just attached to them over there. Mm-hmm. And so that promotion warrant comes. I get promoted to sergeant, and guess what? I'm in charge of him now. And I said. And he would like, I would give like, "Hey, we need to do this, whatever." Staff sergeant said, "Do this." And then the corporal would be like, "Oh," and I'm like, "No, you shut the fuck up." I was getting my revenge, and it's just like,
if there wasn't a time to pull rank, that was a fucking time.
That happened to me twice. That happened to me also too as a PFC to Lance Corporal. And it was a Lance Corporal that used to pick on me all the time. And then I was a PFC. And then I wound up picking up Lance Corporal. And I just remember just going off on him. The one that my roommate at the time was they put me in with he had just picked up corporal. That's what it was. So he was standing there, and me and him were good. Like we got along really good. And I just remember him laughing when I was just going off on that guy. And as a Lance, when I finally picked up Lance Corporal in this the other guy was the last corporal too, just going off on him. And he just laughed. He said, "Man, that was a good one. I'm glad you did that." And so and so. So I did the same thing later on. I don't know how you even got to that point, but yeah, I want to pick up sergeant. Didn't even know I was going to be picking up sergeant, but I guess they were redoing the. Either a lot of people had gotten out at the time, and the scores dropped, and then I wound up picking it up, or they were or they started revamping all the MOSs because people were taking so long to get promoted, and stuff like that. And then so yeah.
Wow. So 4 years you pick up sergeant.
Yeah. Wild.
So how much time after you pick up sergeant are you still with 2nd Medical Battalion?
I left 2nd Medical Battalion and went to I was only there for like maybe 6 months. Yeah, probably about a year.
So you pick up sergeant, and your first enlistment's gonna come up, right? What crossed your mind, or what was your decision to re-enlist versus getting out?
I was having a lot of fun. Another one of my best friends, who I'm still friends with to this day, he was there, and I told him, I said, "Bro, I'm re-enlisting." And he was like, "Bro, I'm re-enlisting too." And I was like, "Man, I just keep having a lot of fun." And he was like, I'm the same way too, bro. And we just, we just want to re-enlisting, and that's what it was. I had good leadership, very few bad leadership. What I did with that is whatever I didn't like from them, I just didn't do myself. When I started picking up sergeant, and of course, when you start picking up rank and stuff like that, you become a little hothead and everything until somebody checks you or calm you down a little bit. Like when I picked up corporal, I was like, "Oh yeah," and then that lasted, I don't know, for about a month. And then same thing with sergeant. No, with sergeant, I was still like, running around trying to be motivated and stuff like that, especially after going to sergeant's course. And that lasted like maybe 3 weeks after that. And then I was back to my regular self. But you take stuff from like your leadership that like all the leadership that I didn't like. I just took stuff from them and said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be that way and everything. And then the ones that I did like, I want to be like that. And I had a lot of good leadership that took care of me and stuff. So that's what also helped me re-enlist also too,
Prior to the Corps, did you see yourself as in any kind of leadership position? I know there wasn't that much time after high school, whatever. But
Not at all. I was an introvert. I mean, I was on a football team, but I was no leader at the time. I didn't think so, and everything like that. Definitely an introvert, and I stayed an introvert all the way. After picking up sergeant and being a leader and stuff like that, I was, go do this. Oh, okay, all right, let's go do this. Hop in here and do whatever. But picking up the phone and making phone calls, or if the phone rings, I'm not picking it up. You run off and everything.
I'm still the same way, and I have to talk to people. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I had it used to be two of us working on this podcast, and that was just me. And I was the introvert. I am the introvert one. So the one that was my other partner, he was the one that was doing all the talking, and I would just do follow-up questions or whatever. So I didn't want this project to die. So I'm like, you know what? This might help me come out of my shell. Little by little.
Right. And that's what recruiting did to me, because it was like, no, you're going to do this or whatever. And if you didn't pick up that phone, go out there to talk to people, your career's over.
Yeah.
It's a career ender.
Yeah.
You're done. So it was just like you're forced to do it. It was like, that didn't happen until like later on, and and everything like that. So for a while, I was, to that person, like, go pick up the phone. Hey, we need you to go here and talk to this person. Okay.
Your first enlistment's done. You re-up. What's next for you?
I was supposed to go to Iwakuni, Japan. My TMO had left, had orders, and then I remember my staff sergeant at the time, he came talk to me before I left, because I was going to be leaving a couple days or whatever. He came talk to me. Great guy. Again, another one that took care of the whole platoon. Great guy and everything. And then he was talking to me at the room. He left, and then I got a call. I forgot what that's called. I forgot what it was called too, because they had just changed it at the time. but it was the main admin for MOG or FSSG at the time. And then so I went up there and they said, "Hey, when is your TMO leaving?" I said, "It just left like 2 hours ago." "Okay, well, your orders are wrong. It says something 1CG or whatever. I mean, I know it says Iwakuni, but we go by the code in it, which is 1CG. And at the time, they had career planners that was just pulled from anybody. They weren't like, that wasn't an MOS at the time. Later on, it became an MOS. But it was like, hey, Motor T guy, sergeant, you're gonna make you we're gonna make you a career planner.
It was like a secondary billet.
It was a secondary billet at the time, and so a lot of times the person didn't want to do it, but they messed up with my whole reenlistment codes and all this other stuff. And it was I was like, "Where is it going?" And it was like, they said, "You're going to California." California? Supposed to go to Iwakuni. I got all my shots. I got my terrorist briefs. I got this, got that. When do I have to be there? You got to be there next week. What? They said, "We're going to put you on leave today, and you got to be there at the end of next week." Okay. How am I going to pay for it? And at the time, they didn't have all these pay systems like they have now. Well, we're going to advance you to pay like later on and blah, blah, blah. So I had to pay. My mom actually paid for me to take the train across country. I drove my car home to New York, left it there, got my sea bags and everything and my uniforms, and hopped on an Amtrak train across country from New York.
Fuck.
Yeah. Which turned out to be good because I met a lot of people up there. I met some people from England, met some missionaries, did a missionary in Guatemala. And I was like, hey, I was in Guatemala, and everything like that. I was with Guatemala with the Marines and everything. And that this all happened during the first deployment. I mean, my first enlistment, Guatemala, Haiti, was telling them and stuff like that. Met some roadies that did some the roadies for different concerts and stuff like that. It was a good time. Learned a lot. Then I got dropped off in Oceanside, California. And it was just like, okay, what do I do now? So I wound up going.
So they basically drop you off at the front gates, or what?
No, so there's a train, go across country. Actually, from New York, go to Chicago, get off of there, and you take the train across country. Wound up getting there, and then daggone freaking getting off, and it was actually found this out years later that it was actually Fullerton. Got off in Fullerton, and the Fullerton train took me to Oceanside. Get off in Oceanside, and it was just like, okay, now you got to find your way to base. And so I remember staying in this hotel because I still had a couple of days to check in and everything. Stayed in this nasty hotel and everything. And I just remember it was like hair all over the bathroom wall and everything. And I didn't sleep on the bed. I threw my sea bag and my uniform bag up there and slept on the sea. And I was like, nah, I'm checking in tomorrow. Wound up checking in the next day to MWS 372. That was my second unit out there.
And what was that time like during your time in Camp Pendleton?
That was good too. That was great people. It was really, really good camaraderie and stuff like that. Again, good leadership. My gunny at the time, we're still friends to this day. He took care of us, and then the next gunny that came after him, great guy, took care of us. The chief officers were good to go. The unit was good. It was everything before September 11th. September 11th happened, and then that's when everything changed.
Touch back to 9/11. I just wanted to ask you a quick question. Was it your first time out there Was it your first time out there on the West Coast?
It was my second time. First time was in 29 Palms during CAX. And I was part of 2nd Medical Battalion attached to AFSB at the time. And because I was always attached to them and going places. So we wound up coming out to CAX, and I hated California. I was like,
because of CAX.
Yeah, it's because of CAX. That's all I see. I remember getting off at LAX. They had buses waiting for us out there on the strip. Got off the plane. They loaded the buses. I mean, the trucks and everything. We got on the bus, went straight to 29 Palms. And hated every bit of it. Out there, again, it's, Marines doing shenanigans and stuff, almost getting in trouble and everything like that. And I was like, And then we had some knucklehead Marines that was in stayed in the same hooches as you. And it was just like, I can't wait to can't wait to leave this place to get back to the East Coast and blah, blah, blah. And then later on, I came back to California. So
29 Palms during your time at CAX kind of stained that experience. Did it lower your expectations once you got stationed out there to Camp Pendleton?
No. It was way different. 29 Palms and Camp Pendleton is two different places. It's like Earth and Mars, literally, and everything like that. So I got to Camp Pendleton and it was just totally different. I had some good Marines and most of those Marines are good to go. And we're still friends to this day, still in touch. Most of them, not all of them. It was good times and stuff like that. And then I learned a lot there too. That's where I went to Sergeant's course at. Sergeant's course out there, which is good to go. And then some other places didn't deploy anywhere or whatever at the time and everything.
How long were you stationed there for?
2000, and then I got married in 2001, and then 2002. 2002 is when I went to recruiting duty. So yeah, 2000 to 2002, only 2 years. 3 years? Well, 1, 2, 3 years.
It was because all the good times you were having.
Yeah, it seemed like at least 4, but yeah, but 2000 and 2002 is when I went to recruiting duty.
We're going to pause it right there. Marine 1169's story continues in the next episode. Stay tuned to Chat 62, Semper Fi.
Struggling? You're not weak. You're human. Dial 988, then press 1 for the Veterans Crisis Line. Train support that understands veterans. Stay the course. Thank you, Ozzy. Oof.